Hey, my fellow Reits friends, have you ever thought that you need to get fit and ripped with your Reits to ensure that you get great performance for your Reits? But before that, you need to also exercise yourself so that you can be fit and ripped. Okay, now this is what I do on maybe once every 3 days. Follow me, I'll show you some of the exercises to be fit and ripped for your Reits, and I'll explain later why that's important. Come on, follow me. Now this is the chin-up bar. Let's do like maybe 10, 15 each time and do like 2 or 3 sets and then you'll be alright. So ladies and gentlemen, the key thing about the pull-up is because it helps you strengthen your core muscles. Now the key thing that we focus on in Reits is to look at the internal core strength of the Reits, and that's why we analyze the balance sheet of Reits very closely in our classes. Now the other thing about the pull-up, is that it's a very simple exercise that strengthens both your biceps as well as your triceps as well as your deltoids. So that's the key thing, because all these muscles, like for Reits, the balance sheet, the income statement, and the DPU must come together to give you outperformance. Now, the second exercise we normally do is the inverse kick up. Okay, the inverse kick up is important because remember, most of the time we are always standing straight. Where does the blood flows? From here down. In reality, ladies and gentlemen, for you to be alert most of the time and to be able to decipher the shift in any Reits changes, the ability resides in your cerebellum, your cerebrum, and your hypothalamus. That's right, your brain. So do daily exercises such that blood flows from your body, not downwards, but into your brain. How do you do it? That's where we do the reverse kick. Follow me. And as this, do 2 sets or 3 sets, maybe like 5 or 15 each time. Okay, so are you ready? Hey, blood goes to your brain. Blood goes. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, 2 exercises, the pull-up and the inverse kick-up, actually helps you to strengthen core muscles. Reminiscence to what we do in real estate investment trust, that is, we find real estate investment trust with core strength. How is that important? Let me just give you an illustration. Yesterday, a very good article in Business Times actually appeared, and that is actually the one that is given here. It shows, and it reads, as written by one of my good friend, Nan Paul, with the Business Times. It says, Life REIT manager and sponsor group need to deliver on true value rather than just words. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as the song goes, words da 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 will not get you anywhere except karaoke time. Okay. Now, in the report, it is actually stated, and Ben actually wrote and highlighted, it is worth recounting how Manulife ended up in this sorry state. What is this sorry state? The fact that the share price has collapsed by more than 70% in this very short period of less than 3 years. You know, that that a lot now depends on its manager and sponsor putting the interests of unit shareholders before their own. Yes, Ben has hit the nail on the head. That is, for a long, long time, the interest of the manager and the sponsor has been put first instead of minority shareholders. What happened? Well, they did 3 rounds of fundraising. All of them have lost money for shareholders. So if you are one of middle life shareholder, you will notice that essentially you are in a sorry state, as what the business time report have actually highlighted. Well, ladies and gentlemen, even before they got into this sorry state, in my book, Making Your Millions in Real Estate Investment Trust, and the Chinese version, which is this, okay, they're sold in the US and China. Well, they are bestsellers, and thank you once again for your support. I've highlighted in my book that Manulife already had a lot of warning signals way before this collapse actually took place. My book was written 4 years ago, and the literature enumerated in my book, actually underlies the fact that the core strength for Manulife was lacking. One in the fact that one of its core assets, that's the building called Figuara, essentially, well, it was actually in the latest results, they mentioned that two tenants, that's actually TCW and another, actually left. And that's why the valuation of Figuera dropped by 33%. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's down 33%. You know, in the history of real estate investment trust in Singapore the last 21 years, it is hard put. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been doing research every day on real estate investment trusts, not only in Singapore, Hong Kong, the US and Australia, where we have lived for the last 15 years. The other thing that Ben Paul actually points out in his good and great Business Times article, is the fact, for starters, let me just quote, for starters, Manulife REIT gearing was not pushed to the edge of statutory limits by the most recent markdown of its portfolio valuation alone. Its gearing has been allowed to rise steadily over the years from 33% in 2017 to 43% in 2021. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in my book, I have already focused, and in 4 years ago, I already talked to the management and highlighted their expansionary endeavors. It seems that when they established the REITs with only three assets, and right now they have more than 10 assets, all this are actually financed by new equity, inevitably, because the bank loans that is actually needed to finance each of this are actually limited because of the gearing ratio requirements. And if you're operating a REIT, man, I mean, you should be able to focus and hit as what the inverse kick up, in the exercise that we showed you earlier, actually exemplify, right? So if you do not have the foresight to look forward, obviously you're actually prepping the REIT for a disastrous performance. That's what we have saw. Have you seen in Manolife's 70% plunge in its share price, and the fact that all three fundraisers actually resulted in huge losses for investors? And what is the current excuse going ahead? Well, Manulife continues to say that, and according to Business Times, it says that, the second last column, it says that last week the manager continued to telegraph its next moves and creating a sense of optimism that recovery might be around the corner. Specifically, the manager said that. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you actually trust or not trust whether that's recovery around the corner? It can be around the corner, but it's going to happen this year, next year, a few years' time, by which time the share price may have dropped even further. Well, for more of this and your ability to use your core strength as what we have taught you in the reverse pull up as well as actually the pull up. Do join us for our class special price for because of the Valentine's holiday. Do sign up at GCP Global website where we will touch on which are the REITs to avoid in your portfolio, which are the REITs like the bad apples that will have gone sour. The early warning signs, especially now in an era of high interest rates, are hitting REITs at the bottom line. These are the ones that we ferret out for you in our class next week on the 25th of February. As well, of course, we continue to nurture for you and ensure that you only have good REITs to enjoy your fruits of your labor. Hey, you know what? As REIT investors, what we want is safe and stable returns. But of course, not all 38 REITs in Singapore are able to deliver that. So my ability, is something that I want to share with you, and it's something that through our constant workout together, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure that you are actually fit and ripped so that you can rip off the fruits of the labor of your REIT or real estate investment trust investments. Don't you join us for our class and subscribe to our channel. Till